Good afternoon and welcome to the program Moment, broadcast on Star Television, the house of communication. Today's Thursday. Very nice day out here today. It's not raining, but it's a little bit hot. I hope you are not moving around too much. So at least we can go ahead and make sure we adhere to the golden rule of COVID-19. Stay home, stay safe. If you don't have anything to do around, make sure you're home. Today on Moment, we are going to be looking at two words that has crept across the globe today: indiscipline and violence. And to talk about indiscipline and violence in the program today, I have somebody who's very, very, very familiar to this program. And I'm sure when I introduce him to you, some of you who have been watching or following Moment and say, yes, I know him, I know this guy, I know him very well. Well, let me tell you who my guest is today. My guest is Wadiike-Williams. Good afternoon, Wadi, and welcome to the program Moment.
Good afternoon, Bill. Another spectacular introduction. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a while since I hosted you on the program Moment, but things have been going and you've been following events as well.
Absolutely.
And this is why I've sort of called you to come in and sit in so we can look at some of the issues, the two key words that are now all over the world: indiscipline, violence.
Yes, Bill. There's a sense in which the two are married. They're connected. I think the outrageous use of violence is an indication of the indiscipline that informs some societies. I know that the hot topic right now is the nightmare that's unfolding in America. I know. And I know that within that context, the issue of indiscipline is crucial. Now, I say this knowing precisely what the impact of what my words are going to have. The indiscipline in America starts with their president. I know this is, to some eyes, this might be controversial. But America illustrates precisely what the problem is here. Our leadership, be it in America, be it in UK, be it in Sierra Leone, leaves a lot to be desired. We have systems that were shaped in the 19th century. We have technology which is shaped in the 21st century. And unfortunately, our political systems have not caught up with the technology of today. And therefore, we have these anomalies. But to get back to your point, which is this, that lawlessness and violence. You know, when you arrive at the use of violence, that tells you that all else has failed. People will not go and protest in the street, will not behave in the way they behave simply because they have nothing else to do. No, they are moved by particular forces. And we have to understand that one of the keys to governance, we must have a duty of care. That is the issue we have here, a duty of care. What we see unfolding in America is an example of what happens when you don't have that duty of care. What we see happening here at home, if we're not careful, is moving in the same direction. And here, I wish to speak both about violence and lawlessness. We have to understand that the example has to come from the top. Insofar as we have a government, a president, security forces, they are the people that have to give us the example of how to conduct ourselves and behave. So if we say we want a lawful society, from our president right down, must behave in a lawful manner. Failure to do so feeds the lawfulness or the unlawfulness. Failure to do so, in a sense, justifies the miscreant behavior of some of our citizens. Just as we say, it's wrong for let somebody go thief somebody in phone, it's wrong for let government minister go thief with nation in money. Just like we inconvenience you when you lost your phone, inconvenience this nation, yeah, we will not get oxygen in our hospital. You inconvenience this nation, yeah, where we be picking in our school, not get proper teacher, then proper facilities. So not to say we people then behave in a lawless manner, in not get no victim. Believe you me, this whole nation, yeah, we then thief at the level of government level. Now we future than the thief. We person thief you phone at it. Now today inconvenience it cause you. Then two, we don't want them. So we begin really demand of we leaders them. Then for be an example. That time we can tell we begin and say, look, this society, I will not accept them kind of nonsense. We not accept them kind of lawlessness. But how you go tell you can say we not accept lawlessness when the point say, but which is the job? Look, we minister, not to the non-thief day. Look, we minister, not to the non-thief day, we not get oxygen in hospital. So if we want to really change the society, from top to bottom, we all get to address this issue for being morally and ethically proper. So, I'm sorry for taking so much time over this issue, but it's crucially important. If you want to turn this nightmare around, then Salon get for let we remember how we been there. Let we remember whether at any way we need respect, integrity. We need respectability. We seem for them forget that thing. When that we make, when I say if you go inside during that period in this world or in Africa, they will look Salomon and say a very special person. They will say that now. No. So let we remember, let we begin really see we self as we be. Let we begin be the example where we can be. And that is the key. Potentially Sierra Leone can be an example for the rest of this continent. But they are let me not left this option. Let me not work that pass. We have the potential to be a remarkable example for this continent. Let me not forget that. And that means that we get for become lawful. we get for member who that we be and conduct ourselves in that way. We are a very dignified, proud, intelligent, spectacular people. I see the other day two different reports with them, research with them do. Do you know Salon people that have the highest IQ in this continent? Bar none. Well, let me use the IQ. I beg.
But what with the witness the Salon, not as something we just knew.
True.
Because like you talk about the last word, integrity. It don't take some time where we don't mortgage with integrity in Sierra Leone. And two, we don't sit down, we don't look, Salon say, it not belong to we again. The word patriotism, it not a creep in the minds or the mouth of many Sierra Leoneans today.
Not true. You know, be like you're always nervous for kind of a program. Because you can put me inside any kind of situation. Of course, the question of patriotism, now something with this nation we desperately need. And I don't know, all time I can watch your program, one of the themes when you go through your program, now you can lock into this question of patriotism. We know saying that not one of the missing ingredients in one day. What is patriotism? It means say if you love your nation, if you really elect your nation, and that means say the way you conduct yourself, will reflect that love for your nation. But if you really love your nation, whosoever you work, do unto the best of your ability, because Salon demand and require the best of you. Salon not settle for anything less than the best of you. So whosoever you work, Salon demands the best of you. By the same token, na contract we get with Salon as a citizen of Salon, Salon for provide for you. You don't forget for being cry and sweat for like you can get medical care, or you can get proper schooling, or people able to go to school, or you able to feed and meet the requirements of your family. You don't get for begin sweat for that thing. If you say you're not Salon citizen, those are things that should be in place. If they're not in place, begin Allah upon your government. And Allah tell you get government where they make them things that in place. Now we get a democracy now. One of the keys to democracy. The citizens should be able to demand of their government certain behavior. That means say every citizen of this country, I get right. For say, look, I want proper school for me picking. I want proper hospital for me picking. I want proper work for me picking. I want proper civilized existence for me picking. Not tell me say we get for way too. Not tell me that. 50, 60 years now, will go so. We wait. 10 don't reach level, begin deliver. Now the attitude that we citizens forget, not to favor government, they do you. Now you right. So make a distinction between privilege and right. All into what they talk, so now you right. And from that perspective, if you don't get them, you're a victim of lawlessness. If you don't get them, if they don't can give you, if they don't make that available to you, then you get the right for say, well, look, listen, I mean, we get contract now. I say I accept your rules and regulations as my government, but you said you get forget duty of care to it. If we not fail upon that duty of care, then we need change. And democracy allow we to do that. So what I say now, not to just something for today. But I remember, if we want change in this country, I will get for begin get government where they meet then issue day, where they meet the needs where Salon get, where the requirements where this nation get, not to regional business, not to tribal business. Now this country, you don't tell me we begin talk for Salon. Don't we find Salon invoice? Yeah. And people like we don't begin talk about that. We're not interested in the regional and tribal issue. Now we think good for Salon, now we talk about. So, and one of the things we're good for Salon, let we end this lawlessness nonsense here. Let we become a disciplined people. Let we become a disciplined nation. Let we clear now we way to say we are a very special nation. And let me demonstrate that. We will lead by example. Now that's Salon get for begin do. Yeah, let me move in that direction.
Waiting lead we to this kind of situation when we serve, because as you self know, me self know, Salon not been there so, but we just take a nosedive, and today, not much to write about.
It is one of the tragedies. No, seriously, I don't say all man relax about this thing, you know. But the time where I can talk to people who can discuss, I can say, look, listen, you know, one of the tragedies of Sierra Leone is a result of history's folly. I tell you, history's folly in this sense. We have all the components to be a remarkable nation. And one of the things that's happened to Sierra Leone now, we developed a sense of self-doubt. We lack the self-confidence for doing what we really do. We doubt ourselves.
What didn't cause that?
Well, now the problem that I know all man can refer directly to the Civil War, but that's not only part of the issue. The part of the issue is that for too long, Salon don't begin to see themselves as a collection of tribes instead of a nation. And so, depending on whose majority tribe come to power, their interest is in pursuing sectional and regionalist interest, not to national interest. Whatever we can say about simultaneous government, at that point the interest was national. The government reflected that. Show me whose government. I mean, briefly, sort of, they may attempt that by this one party business, but show me whose government at Salon don't really come and tin up for Salon. Show me one. I defy you now for show me one. All the government who don't come had sectional interest, tribal interest, regional interest. Well, but listen, you don't each time we talk about Salon interest. We don't for tin up for Salon interest. You don't each time we begin get ourselves, let we begin tin up for Salon interest. Let me understand, say there's 7.5 million people where they are. Given the resources where we get, this place could be a paradise on this planet. And let nobody not tell you different. And the only difference is we get for deciding that we want to do. That is the only issue. Not let them tell you say we got to go ask EU or America or nonsense. We self get for deciding that we want to do. Let we do it. That is the issue. That is what independence means. That is what freedom means. That is what it means to be a Sierra Leonean, to have a Sierra Leone nation. Until we get our confidence there, we go begin the big old man. Yeah, can't help with this. No. First, let we understand ourselves. We are a proud, a dignified nation. Let we begin do that. Let we begin behave that kind of way.
Let we begin behave that kind of way. When you look, when the people that can talk about gifts, when they give, it attached to something. Yes. Where at least,
yes,
now hidden something.
Yes.
There is no gift without any reward.
Of course. Now we problem that. But you know what? We tend for the look at waiting then say then he give we as gift. We not ever stop for look waiting then he take from we as waiting and consider the right. Well, listen, just Salon alone. Let me just tell you something. We have 12 billion tons of high-grade iron on that Salon no more. 12 billion. Worth between $1 to $2 trillion. I just want to tell you what you talk about gift. A few years ago, one of the companies where we in mine now exported $4 billion of the iron ore. $4 billion. He make a donation to the government of $2 million. We all got begin down say how we gonna. The man don't take $4 billion gold. You can't left 2 millionaire, we all jump the dance. That is the issue about the exploitation. Where we own country, 7 million get for do with 2 million. Then you care 4 billion go other side. That is why we are poor. We do not get the benefit of our resources and assets. Neither our human resources. You know, in one city in America, Chicago, they get more Sierra Leone doctors than we get in all this country here. One city. I'm not even talk about Maryland. Which kind of nonsense that? How is it, with the limited resources we get, we produce doctors for Chicago, because we don't need doctors in there, and then kind anomaly they now we get for change. We must insist, say the assets of Sierra Leone should first go to the citizens of this nation. Not America, not UK, not Europe. Yeah. Let we begin feed ourselves, shape ourselves, give ourselves the nourishment we need for growth. And I give you all that statistic about Africa. You know the leading shapers and exponents of application. Now Africa, they come out. Go Europe now, go to the banking system. You know that developed the app they were then use there? Africans. Let me tell you about that. No. We have a great potential bro, for transform this continent, for transform this Gonia, for transform Salon. Later we get an opportunity to give this world an example. You don't tell them we left this nonsense where they say Salon, that place where they jab post in hand. You say Salon, that didn't die, that didn't get Ebola. That time they don't done. When they say Salon in the future, they say, you know what, remarkable people there. They don't go through hell, commodity, unbroken, unbowed, and untwisted. Now that's Salon for me to this world.
So, how we get for Waka now, for become remarkable people, like you say, so at least the world go to envy we and other African nations we don't do the same thing.
You know, I say we lead by example. Nobody knows say Salon the gap can be in conquer Africa or the world. No. The way we do it is how, by example. We first shape a system and way of governance now where all of that country and this country can emulate. Now make it important that we understand. Where we can talk about strategic alliance, but we know about SLPP and APC. We know about empathy. Yes, thank you. Now on our face we from pre-colonialism and colonialism, pre-independence to independence. We thank you now. That was in the other millennium. We will talk about 1900s, 1980, 19 and so on. Yeah? We are now in the 21st century. Let me understand, say, it don't each time that we get a new system. We for thank you now. But we not get the DNA for take we go before. We not each consider say now on an optimum position. We need say thank you. Thank you, SLPP. Thank you, APC. But yeah, it don't each time when I move towards retirement now, let actually the new vibe in Sierra Leone begin come through. We want a humane, human-centered, human-sensitive democratic civilization in this country. We can be the example for Africa. Neither SLPP nor APC can be that example. But the new emerging forces in Sierra Leone are that example. So dear, we say thank you to yesterday, but dear, I want to begin opening the door for tomorrow. Because now we too and now we the council. And we come as a fully fledged democratic force, committed to the transformation of this nation, and committed to the transformation of this continent. So not to Salon no more what they talk about. I want that we understand that clearly. Now that's what we for. So sorry to make a political point. But as NPD, that's where we stand, and the same on NPD, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
All right, you talk about emerging forces where they
Yes.
come who can make Sierra not to the APC, not to the SLPP.
Exactly.
You think so? You think say then they are wrong? Because I want to make you tell me now. I dey give you 2 minutes. Then you give me 5 people you go say now role model and now the society today.
Okay. This is you and your dynamic question, and this is where how you get the from. Well, let me do this. What thing I say to you is, we have to understand there are forces now that have emerged since the hegemony of the SLPP and the APC. There are young parties like us that come without the liabilities of this party. We cannot be said we've been involved in corruption in this nation. We cannot be said we've been involved in coup d'etats in this nation. We cannot be said that we've been going into prisons and ripping people out and destroying them in prison. None of these sins can be said to being guilty of. We cannot be said, even in this current scenario now, We cannot be said that we were part of what we call the original sin that happened at the end of the election cycle, when maneuvers were performed to deny the opposition party of their position as speaker, which ran contrary to the electoral process, the will of this nation. We cannot be said we were involved in that. We cannot be said that we went into Padema Road to go kill people inside it. We cannot be said we were involved in that. We cannot be said that we went and ripped ballot boxes when these people were having an election. They went into election booth and smashed the election booth. We cannot be said we were involved in that. We cannot be said we were beaten party members on election day in election booth. We cannot be said to be involved in that. We cannot be said to be involved in intimidating people or receiving bribes from people. This is the new voice, and it's time we understood this. We are not involved in the kind of corruption and distortion of politics that has been the case in previous regimes. We are speaking about a new politics in Sierra Leone. And if you want names, I will tell you. NPD is one of these people, right? Believe it or not, the two parliamentary parties that have represented in parliament, C4C and GC, these are people we're speaking with, PMDC. These are parties with long and impressive roots. And we're bringing all these parties together, hopefully, to form what is loosely termed a strategic alliance. The purpose of this is to give Sierra Leone a voice. So Salon himself can begin here himself to talk to himself. Not to east or south they talk to Salon, not to north they talk to Salon, not to west they talk to Salon. Now Salon they talk to himself. So we face all them group here. We have this common vision. Say don't reach and we transform Salon. We come and we begin bring ourselves together, then we can do that. Now the movement that, and I tell you, Salons tomorrow, tomorrow don't come fair with today. Let me understand that. When we talk about strategic alliance, now tomorrow don't come fair with today. So not about Wadiike-Williams, not about NPD. I don't tell them I like confess to my ambition. I want to be Salon gift to the AU. So nobody say I say because I want to be president of this. I say because now that Salon gift for say to himself. You know, I'm trying to be a voice for Salon, not for east, west, north, south, Kuyum, and determine. No, you don't tell me with family voice for Salon. Now that depends. So if I talk too much, I beg, you have my
well, you know they talk too much. I enjoy you so much. But as we they talk, because these are the questions we can come time and time when you sit down with people they ask you. Well, yesterday we been get people and you look across the board. You see them say this is a fine role model of society.
Yes.
Yeah, individuals and they for come where they can make Salon make a U-turn.
Not true.
But are they role models and get fine character?
Well, I know sir you want to go with this thing. Because there was a time when you could literally, you ask that question there, I can give you 10 different people who working as role models. You know, seriously, whether it be blindness, whether it's this, that. But could them in there.
If you can give in the past, why make you not go give it now?
You see you. No, but the point is this. We have gone through some changes. And really, we have to understand the trajectory of history. You know, believe me, if you say we came into being as a state in 1961, well, at 57 years, no more, 58 years, but we don't there, 59 even. Now, no more we don't there as a state. Fine. But if you look what we don't do in that term day, look at from the nation state, in that term day, we don't move from a simple nation state to now part of a continental body. That's not one. Two, we don't evolve in that term day, live through the entire evolution of a state. Two side we did now. Listen, you know we colonial power we be there, England. You know almost civil war they get. You know almost kings then cut their head. You know almost wars for years. We don't do in 57 years what it took England over 1,300 years for do. If you calculate from 1066, where the last successful invasion, they don't chop it, they don't do this, they don't all that to Tileusa and this. In 57 years, we don't make that same journey there. So let we not forget what we don't achieve. Likewise in Africa, in the terms of 57, 58 years, we've moved from a pre-state to a continental potential structure. It takes you up over 1,000 years, 2 world wars, to achieve that same objective. Let we begin to realize what things we don't achieve. Believe you me. We're a people whose resources, human resources, was literally hemorrhaged to build America and the Caribbean and Europe. It's taken us 250 years to replenish our genetic pool. So now we're in a position to transform this continent. So let nobody not tell me no damn nonsense. Now we go build outside, you don't reach out we can't begin build yourself. Let nobody not tell me any different from that. Then tinap to America now, because we go sweat, bleed, and build. England today, because of the resources we they pull now, without paying. Let me understand that. If you go Liverpool now, for example, there are buildings there that have the shape of African heads as an indication who side and pull the money. So where we pass now, then one day we don't owe them. Now they owe we. So then I can't tell you how for dinner. Let me say you understand how we get for dinner. It's time we took pride in being Africans. It's time we took back our destiny. That is the key. We not get for beg nobody. We not get for apologize. Waiting with the demand. Now waiting we own. Nobody not to favor them do it. I beg. I don't time for see people all time. Also we pass. They begin beg. Why? Not them owe we, not to we owe them. And we need to understand that. Stop being apologetic. We not get to apologize to no man, nobody in this world here. Least of all them, but I want to say barbarians in America, but no. Last home said they said, look, listen, we have no need to apologize to anyone. Let me build this country, but let me build this continent here.
This country for Bilam, like you say, now me and you and all Sierra Leoneans,
absolutely,
now get for push them forward.
Absolutely.
But when you look what's in the worker inside salon today, the mindset of people them, what they don't take as accepted norm, corruption.
That's not a problem. I mean, nobody not going to pretend say corruption is not an issue. What I think that the problem is that sometimes we not realize just how deep and destructive corruption is. You know, we don't always develop a culture where we tend to accept corruption. We didn't say, well, I remember one day, a couple of years ago, I've been driving, I drive up, I think I've been God Eat Seat. Somebody mistake thief, either na granate or something from somebody. Then beat that boy, they almost kill him. For less than 1,000 euro. And this is not the funny part. I drive, and I go down by Tower Hill. Kandong na Shakasi. Now there I see Minister Kandong na in car. This not possible. All man knows he don't tip some spectacular tip. He build 6 houses at the same time. If you see where people then, hey, bruh, this time man where you don't tip to the extent, now make we not get oxygen in our hospital, we not get this now, we not get this. These are people that steal our future, yet with the way they call to them. That man where angry tell he feels like for go tip Ganat with the beater. Waiting at he say both those elements speak to us as Sierra Leoneans. We cannot be literally almost worshipping Posse. We don't tip te, it don't almost destroy we health system. We cannot be say Hosanna to that Posse day. Then the Posse way health you not get, food you not get, a mistake tip Ganat with the beater. Then too wrong. But before you can do this stuff, understand what justice demands. When we tinap say this country had tinap and unity, freedom, and justice. But not justice down there. Not justice down there. We citizens now and get justice. With the lawlessness, how you gonna get justice with lawlessness? How you gonna able to get unity with lawlessness? How you gonna get freedom with lawlessness? So if we turn up the masquerade, they say, yes, we stand for justice. We stand for freedom. We stand for unity. Then but we can't simultaneously stand for lawlessness. We have to be a law-abiding nation that is therefore unified, that is therefore free, and of course, most important of all, that stands and sits on justice. If we get in component there, nothing not touch you. Nothing not touch you. And nothing not pass we not this for if we get in component there. But if we sit on the same that we stand for, but nevertheless we want to be lawless, it cannot happen. We have to remember what it is to be a law-abiding, a just society, a free society, and a unified society.
Waiting we need for do, for make we get a just system. You don't identify the problems. But waiting we get for do, don't find solution now.
I think there's a mindset issue. Now, I make up in Sierra Leone, I say, look, as much as we're grateful to them, to all party them, and we're grateful to them, they do not have the DNA to take us beyond this point. That is the issue. Which we get for do. We get for look at both our politics, our commerce, our economics, our social, the entire structure. Because the structure we get now product of yesterday's view. Well, let me just give you one simple example. Let's go to Parliament and look at Parliament. 51% of the population of Sierra Leone are women. They have less than 14, 15, if 17% of that in representation in Parliament. How is that democratic? You cannot say you expect your citizens to comply with the rules and laws if you don't allow them to be part of the making of those laws. You cannot tell me 51% of the population only has 15 or 17% of the representation in the corridors of power. That's something we need to address. Secondly, we need to shift from having a governance system that's committed to simply replacing one tribal hegemony with another, to one that runs on meritocracy. Now, I know they say this because some people in the field say the Creoles were this, that, and the other. One of the things that was possible in previous occasions, at least within the civil service, was to run the civil service along meritocratic lines. So therefore, person did it because they get the ability, they get the knowledge, they get the know-how, etc. for did it. They're not going to do it because either na Creole or Mendi or Teme. You get what I'm saying? That is one of the ways we have to literally transform our civil service. It has to be meritocratic. It has to be apolitical. You know, again, nothing for do with your political view. There's certain things that the government has to perform, that whatever your political allegiance, you get for do. So we get to make our civil service apolitical. We get to make it a stringent requirement of any government, whether it be this government or that government or whatever government, they must always have continuity in what they do. What do I mean by that? We get to develop a plan development. Look South Korea. When they come in 60, 61, they sit down, they're entrepreneurs, they're workers, they're businessmen, they're politicians, they sit down there, they plan. Look inside them now. You know, let me say, do a similar thing. You know, let me say, take a lesson from that. Seriously. Let me sit down and say, look, we workers then. We entrepreneurs then. We leaders then. Let me sit down and say, look, what do we want? How we want to go with Salon? How we want reach here now? Which are the steps we get for take from here for reach how we want to go? We decide saying that we want to do. We all decide saying that we want to do, and we do it. So no matter whether whose government day, that is the plan we pursue. That kind of far-sightedness, we not get it.
That go ever happen at Salon
today? That is what the strategic alliance is all about. Now that we want to do. And listen, let nobody not tell you say this government or that government want to do. They not get 50 plus years for doing. They not doing. That tell you say they can't do it. We will do it. Insofar as once we have this alliance up and running, we will do it. Because some of the key members there, we are committed to the organic transformation of Sierra Leone, not just fake transformation. I mean structural transformation of South. You know, instead of we waste time saying, "Boy, hey, we go like this. Let me do humble." Would I say we not forget proper education system? Would I say we not forget that? Would I say we not really get a more equitable distribution of wealth now? Would I say we not forget that? And even if they say we not forget that, would I not can tell me to forget that? So let's develop a certain confidence, a certain assertiveness about what we want to do. Let me know say a right for we nation. Not to UK they can't tell you what right for we now. Not to Trump in America they can't tell you what right for we now. Let me get the confidence of saying, now this we want now, and we do it. America, we can ask you what they for do. UK, we can ask you, no, because they're sovereign. Let me remember, I said this nation, are we supposed to be sovereign? Start from the premise, what is good for Sierra Leone?
What is good for Sierra Leone?
That is where we start.
When you look a nation with the abundant wealth with God giving, then without they go cap in hand, they go big. What do you think he said in English? He who pays the piper.
Of course, yes. No, I think that is historical. Now that we want change. Now, I understand why. I understand the problems where we forefathers and so on go through. I understand all that. But we also, God say we are independent. If we know we want independence, we not for pursue this independent course. One of the requirements of independence, but we ever begin to nap for ourselves and make decisions for ourselves and understand within the word sovereign. We are a sovereign nation. So yeah, let me begin behave as a sovereign nation. You know, let me tell you, this is something I know say Boku will not going to agree with me, but I'll tell you this. I know of no other sovereign nation where in your capital and other sovereign nation pack a whole regiment. Now you capital. That happen now. When the head of ISAD reports not to our chief of staff, but directly to the president. Which kind of Which kind of nonsense that? Now that tells you we haven't yet fully understand what sovereign means. We can send one battalion go pack na Buckingham Palace. We can send a battalion go pack na White House. No. Even the suggestion seems absurd. But it's perfectly okay for them to pack them fully equipped battalion now. The Americans, if they want to train, they can. We have no control over our own sovereignty, over our own geopolitical reality. It's kind of nonsense. That's not what. You know? Politically, we don't have what it requires to take this thing forward. Anyway, that's not conversation we're going to get another time. For now, what we get for say, we have to understand what